Yes, happy to be with you.
I'm sure you heard the smooth voice of Fred Dier. I'm here to remind you that his latest music video is available on YouTube, and I'm inviting you to discover it or rediscover this classic ballad with an edge. Si Weinum means it is you that I love. And here to discuss the upcoming strike at Robert Weinum, let's meet Angèle Hodge.
You are the president of l'UPESM, l'Union des parents d'élèves de Saint-Martin, and you are also pretty vocal within the community when it comes to points of concern of Saint Martin people and the things that impact our lives. But more importantly, you focus on education, and that is basically your cheval de bataille.
En fait, I got more than one casket, but the presidency of UPESM, I'm going to say, is the one that takes most of my time these days. But when I say these days, en fait, depuis 2018, quoi.
Venons-en. The St. Martin's Week put out an article not too long ago referring to different points of concern that the government quote unquote has with regards to education on St. Martin. You represent parents, I'm sure, from your perspective of the different difficulties. I'm not sure if you read that article. You read it, and it showed the disparities between what our numbers represent versus the national numbers, and the regional numbers. But in the midst of all of that, there is what you do, there is the representation, and all of this happening in the eve of a protest that seems to be organized by parents, a group of parents, but not necessarily l'UPESM. Tell me a little bit about it. Walk me through it.
Okay, let me start from the beginning of what you said with the disparity between the figures. UPESM is one of the partners on the Projet Académique that we're busy with right now. And as a matter of fact, it goes from 2020 to 2023. And one of the goals that we're setting ourselves is justement to go up a certain amount of points every year. So they are very conscious of it, and they are, I'm going to say, putting in concrete ways to get to, to gain those points, justement. But I want to say, ça va être un trajet de longue haleine, because we know what the difficulties are, and I don't see them getting any better, honestly speaking, with everything that's going on.
It was already difficult without COVID, and now with adding COVID to the equation.
Exactly, because what we're forgetting is that the kids were out of school for 6 months, huh?
Yeah.
And for some more than others, 6 months is even more than 6 months, je veux dire, en la réalité de la chose.
Il y a un enseignant qui m'a dit l'autre jour qu'il était avec une classe de CE2, 1 ou 2, je ne sais plus, et que une soustraction très simple, tu sais, du genre, une addition simple, pardon, 3 pommes à droite, il y a un blanc, et on te met 6 le résultat est 6, et on demande à l'enfant comment il qu'il y ait pour qu'on ait dans l'ensemble que le résultat soit correct. Donc, j'ai 3 pommes, il me manque combien pour arriver à 6? Et 2 heures plus tard, sur l'échelle de la classe, c'était une énigme
invraisemblable. Je trouve même pas mes mots, parce que when we're speaking about math, we're not speaking about a language now. C'est un langage scientifique, oui, mais c'est pas un langage qui devrait être, je vais dire, handicapé par le manque. They like to tell us we don't know how to speak French.
Yeah.
D'accord?
Yeah.
That should not matter, because there you have a visual now. You got these 3 apples on one side, you got the other 6 apples on the other side. What is lacking? Donc, quelque part, je me dis qu'il y a un travail encore plus profond à être fait. Because I have a lot of parents that are complaining, for example, on the amount of homework that is being given. So what is causing that dysfunction between what is supposed to be learned and what is actually being, what's actually going into this child?
So we have a lot of problems. Among which, let me pull it up here. I have, donc, mobilisez-vous parents, alors, pour vos enfants, le 5 octobre à 6h30 devant le lycée Robert Weinum. Déjà, explique-nous s'il y a déjà un consensus de parents autour de ce sujet de mobilisation.
Alors, l'UPESM a toujours été, et je suppose que le sera toujours, une association loi 1901. Ce qui veut dire qu'il y a un bureau, qu'il y a une présidence, qu'il y a un conseil d'administration et tout ce qui va avec une association. À la nanoseconde là maintenant que je suis en train de te parler, toi, no one has officially contacted the presidency or the bureau of UPESM officially to ask, anything, to explain to us anything, to whatever be the case. On the contrary, I had a lot of people calling me, asking me if UPESM was organizing a match. So I was obliged somewhere to do a live, justement, un espèce de démenti, j'ai envie de dire, quelque part, to say that no, we did not have anything to do with this match. And not only that, but we are seeing, how should I say, there are not enough classrooms. On est d'accord. The origin of that problem is that there are too many students stuffed into a space that was not meant for that amount of students. On était parti sur une base de 600, on en est à plus de 900. Okay? Because of COVID, again, because of a lot of parents losing their jobs, there are a lot of the children from the private sector that are now coming into the public sector. And another problematic too is that most of them without a test because they couldn't do the test because of COVID. We were locked down.
So let's just say this slowly for our viewers to really get it. So on the territory, on St. Martin, there are two categories of children going to school: those that go to the private institutions of learning and those that go to the public ones. So because of the economic dynamic of St. Martin newly imposed by the COVID, some people can no longer afford the 300 or about 400 euros per month to maintain the private instruction that they were affording their children.
And something I would like to mention, because when I heard the figure, I was a bit stunned. The amount of public schools on the territory are 19. The amount of private schools are at 16.
Right.
Quand même.
Presque just as much.
Presque just as much, comme tu dis. Voilà. Ouais. Donc, pour en revenir à la marche, anybody that knows me, like I've been saying for the past 2 days, knows that I was in the street for the PPRN, I was in the street for the border. The border issue, I was there as the representative du Conseil de quartier. I even said, and I'm mentioning this because we saw a lot of comments pass across on the chats, how come I was supporting that and not this. And I even mentioned back then, I said, it bothers me because I cannot take a stand as UPESM's president because none of my adherents are concerned by this issue and no one contacted me that was concerned by this issue. Because again, we are an association. We have an adhesion annual de 20 euros. So if I'm out there fighting for everybody, then why are my adherents paying our adhesion? You know what I mean?
So what are you telling me that the people, you haven't identified the people who have put out a call for protest or action for tomorrow Monday?
Yes, it's the list, the second list that was in existence at Robert Weinum up until last year. I said that bad. I said up until last year. They were only there last year. Sorry.
Okay, and so because when we saw the publication, there was no signature. There was no identifying who is who. And so I was a bit confused myself. I wasn't sure if it was just random parents who decided that enough was enough, or if there was an organization or something. So I'm happy to hear you say, so basically we do know who those people are, but they're not necessarily an organized group, or at least a recognized branch or any of that.
Do you remember in 2018 when the collectif was created?
Yes.
I was part of it myself. I want to say that my evolution since then has been to know the presidency of UPESM, okay? Because again, I wanted to be part of something that is going to be there for all institutions of learning on St. Martin, just not one school or a select few. The issues are too great. The issues are too wide. I'm going to say for that. Yes, the masses are what are important to me. Like I said, in 2018, we saw the collectif come about. UPESM tried to get involved. Well, not tried to get involved. Actually, that stemmed from a meeting that was organized by the Section Robert Weinum of UPESM. And then it went into something else. And we were literally shut out. Now, when I say we, I mean the whole administration, because we took over just after them. Donc, moi, j'ai envie de dire que l'éducation que m'a fait ma mère, si je ne suis pas invitée chez quelqu'un, je n'y vais pas.
Right.
Si tu m'invites, tu peux en parler, of course. But up to now, like I said, no one has officially contacted me. No one has explained to me concrètement je vais dire, l'utilité de la marche. When we were marching for the border, it was an action-reaction moment. You know what I mean? It is closed. We have the physical presence of gendarmes. We have the physical presence of containers. We want them removed. In the school, we do not have, je dis n'importe quoi, 20 classrooms that are not being utilized. And okay, we're demanding the keys because, yes, the children don't have enough classrooms, and there are classrooms. Tuesday morning when we wake up, because of this match, there won't miraculously be a solution. On a vu des emplois du temps passé où il y avait des créneaux horaires pour le déjeuner de 45 minutes. On a tout de suite envoyé un mail à Mme Borel. Là, depuis, on voit les changements dans les emplois du temps. Those that went from 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
So what you're saying is the things you guys have noted, you were reactive or at least proactive with it, and you did what you had to do, and adjustments were already made.
Are already made, yes. Not only that, but last year we got a redoing, or whatever you want to call it, of the schedules. If I'm not mistaken, it was either 6 or 7 times. So I'm not seeing a huge difference between this year and last year. What I'm seeing is that people are much more stressed. There's a lot more tension, ça pète de partout, j'ai envie de dire. And that's another reason to why I'm not advocating, I'm going to say, hosting up these children even more, because we see past a communique where you have certain teachers that are saying that they are solidarité, but on the bottom it says that they will be present to keep class after. So which means the kid that doesn't go and he's out in the street is going to be counted as absent tomorrow. But the teacher is not out in the street with those children physically at times when he or she should be teaching. So at one point, you either got to be on the bank or in the water.
Concrètement,
oui.
There is a protest. A group of the group of, or the second list that was supposed to be another list of parent or representative of,
or at least members of that list for sure. Yes,
right. Members of that list are asking other parents to protest at 6:30. It's right now it's unclear whether or not it's an all-day something, what they hope to gain from it, and how the day is going to unfold. But what you're saying is that UPESM is basically not for the march.
Hold that thought, Angel. Fred Diaz Admirable will be available on October 30th.
Or not in support of it because of the lack of information?
We're not for, I'm going to say, the context in which it is. Because like I said, if someone can sit down with me and explain me how this is going to make a fundamental difference, je suis prête à les écouter. But what I'm seeing is that I put out this live, like I said, to do this démenti, so to get people to understand that we were not the ones organizing it. And I want to say by extension to not to take credit for other people's thing either. And all of a sudden now we're being bashed on, we're being bullied, like, oh, but how come you're in there for the children? That's not the point. We did more than one letter last year talking about the dangerous situation of that road up there with the kids on the side of the road waiting for the bus. And now I'm seeing something passing that says, nous partirons du lycée et nous allons vers la nationale. Ça veut dire quoi concrètement? Because here you're asking me to send children out on the street. On the same street that I've been advocating how dangerous it is for the past 2 years.
If I understand correctly, tomorrow there's a strike or protest or a march. A lot of dynamics in that march are not for now understood, and you don't find it coherent to go along with.
Exactly, because like I say, I'm hearing the revendications, but we've been hearing the revendications since the beginning of the school year. You know what I mean? We had a meeting with Madame la Rectrice already. We did what we had to do. We presented the situation as it is. So now when I'm seeing a principal working with the vice principal of the school next door, finding solutions, trying to figure out how to get, classrooms liberated to have school, what am I supposed to be doing exactly? How is a match going to concrètement change something on Tuesday morning? That's my question. What is the plan? Do they block the road until the rectrice comes? Are they going to go down to the rectorate? What is the plan?
Just at least for the sake of balance, you said that the points are valid, but your problem is you don't see the point of addressing those issues with a march. So what do you suggest?
Vini, 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 doudou. Vini, 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 doudou. Vague à l'envers, on joue qu'est monté en ciel. Et même si l'arc-en-ciel rivait, on joue à ni on seule couleur. Même si en mort, ses yeux ouverts, ou m'en peut voir depuis l'autre côté là. Aïe l'amour, moi carré, j'y mets en bout sans cœur en moi. C'est clair la nuit de soleil, c'est au moins mais. Oh oui, c'est au moins mais. Les balaous, puis qui volent si l'en met. Et pas au milieu, yo qu'est vini l'ennui de voler en ciel en doux. Les jours ouverts, en jambe, juste en étoiles, puis qui briller. Aïe l'amour, moi carré, j'y mets en bout tant qu'elle en main. Tant pis pour ça qui rivait, c'est moi mais. Si moi te paie, et si bon Dieu te plaît, en te qu'avec eux, encore avec poussière de l'eau et puis vent, pour les étoiles, aux divines, prise à la main, pour pas vieillir. Aïe l'amour, moi carré, j'y mets en bout tant qu'elle en moi. Tant pis pour ça qui rivait, c'est au moins mais. C'est au moins mais. C'est au moins mais. C'est au moins mais. Lélé, lélé. C'est au moins mais. Vini, 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 doudou. 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 Lé, 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 lé.
But like I said, when it comes to the 45-minute pause for lunch, that they're definitely working on. We're seeing more and more classes that are having a minimum of an hour and a half.
So for you, it's a question of patience when it comes to that point.
When it comes to that point, because like I said, they can only work with what they have too. You know what I mean? And here now I am speaking, I'm going to say as the last rung of the ladder. Okay, because that's the problem. Les parents d'élèves ne sont jamais inclus dans la conversation, que ce soit au niveau des profs, que ce soit au niveau quoi que ce soit. On n'est jamais inclus. C'est après le fait accompli que, ah oui, les parents doivent être là. Mais pourtant, on n'arrête pas d'entendre que les parents ne sont pas investis. Or, je tiens à préciser quand même que l'UPESM rentre dans son 11e année. Donc, il y en a quand même qui sont investis, je suis désolée. But you get the impression that as long as what is said does not match what wants to be heard, it shouldn't be said. You know I got a problem with that, right?
I can see it on your face. Right. Alors, je veux juste dire how about, let's take a random point. C'est inacceptable de payer une année de transport, 140 euros, 140 euros, et devoir faire le transport soi-même 3 jours sur 5.
How is that the concern of the school?
Mais
ça relève de la compétence de la collectivité de Saint-Martin.
Exact. Et effectivement, the protest. The school is a duet. It's a question of collectivité and the state. So
and the éducation nationale. Voilà.
Certain things are going to be the collectivité and certain things are going to be le rectorat, on va dire. But in the end, if it's a protest and it's a list of grievances, it's obvious that they would all be together because in the end, the problems are interconnected.
Sauf que j'ai envie de demander, again, I'm coming back to the same question, DK. What is the plan? You know what I mean? Who are they asking to meet with, on which points, or what is the plan? Because moi, je ne vais pas extrapoler, je ne me permettrai jamais.
Mais tu ne penses pas que comme c'est l'habitude à Saint-Martin, qu'il y aura en fait une mobilisation, la mobilisation va imposer l'attention et de la collectivité et du rectorat en simultané et pour qu'ils puissent organiser une réunion qui se fera finalement sur le tas, puisqu'ils ne savent pas s'ils vont être reçus, ils ne savent pas encore. Madame la préfète, dans les conflits passés, a essayé de faire de la médiation, notamment entre l'éducation nationale et la com. Tu ne penses pas que c'est sur fond de ce type de proposition?
Encore une fois, moi, je ne peux pas me prononcer sur... quand on a vu, par exemple, l'annonce de la grève de la CETOS, là aussi, on a fait partir un mail tout de suite, auquel ils ont répondu, j'ai envie de dire, mais pratiquement dans les 12 heures, quoi. OK, where they guaranteed us un service à minima, parce que moi, mon problème dans ça, c'est qu'il y a non seulement le fait des repas, mais il y a aussi le fait du protocole sanitaire qui doit être respecté. De distanciation and all that. Voilà. Donc, they answered us one time. They said that no, a minimum would be assuré. I got a message from Madame Pascal Alix Laborde, I think it was the day before yesterday, where because of all of the remontées that they were having, she's inviting us to come and visit the cuisine centrale. She's inviting us to come and eat at the canteen. And I told the parents, I said, we're going to stagger the days that we go to eat at the canteen so that nobody can say that, yeah, but just that day, because they know how you will come in, they cook good. À un moment, faut arrêter, you know, is it that the food is bad or is it a cultural thing de par the choice of the meals? I don't know because I've never eaten at a canteen. So I'm going to discover it. But again, you know, I'm trying not to get into the he say, she say, and let us judge it for ourselves. You know, I did notice fried plantain was on the menu every day. Mais bon.
Au moins, l'identité culturelle est présente.
C'est pas moi qui va me plaindre, voilà.
Alors, par contre, c'est inacceptable de considérer le droit à l'école comme une faveur. Bon, ça, c'est kind of a grandstanding moment. It's unacceptable to consider the right to education as a favor. C'est inacceptable de ne pas donner les moyens aux jeunes d'être les cadres de demain. Est-ce que tu entends ce point-là? C'est-à-dire que là, on parle directement d'échec, on parle directement de sabotage éducatif, limite. Ça, c'est l'éducation nationale.
Ça, c'est l'éducation nationale, mais j'ai envie de dire que là aussi, dans cette même école, on a posé la question de par les moyens. OK? Et on est censé rencontrer Madame Borel, je suppose, pendant la semaine, hein, pour discuter justement de ces moyens. Donc ça, je me permets de revenir vers toi parce que Madame Borel m'assure qu'on a les moyens. D'accord? Après ça, maintenant, quitte à l'organisation interne de tout ça, c'est pas moi.
C'est un problème de gestion. Alors, si on a les moyens et qu'on sait ce qu'il nous faut, qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est un problème de gestion ou quoi?
Est-ce que c'est un problème de gestion? Est-ce que c'est un problème de répartition? Je ne peux pas te répondre ce soir. La semaine prochaine, j'en saurai mieux, pardon. Because the thing is, the problem that we have to decay is that a lot of things we cannot address right now because of these elections on Friday.
Yeah. Inacceptable de donner des journées de 9 heures de présence pour 4 heures de cours. Donc, on demande à l'enfant, we ask the students, the pupils, to show up for 9 hours, but in reality, they're only given or afforded 4 hours of classes. Why is that? Is that even real?
Why are they given 4 hours of classes?
That's what I'm asking. Is that even real? And why?
That's it. I can't answer that question, but I'm taking it from a logical point of view. If you're telling me that I have 9 hours of classes and I'm only getting 4 hours, then either I ain't got no teacher.
Le prof est absent.
Voilà. Donc, encore une fois, that's a point that should have been explained a bit more in depth. Why are they only having 4 hours because of, when they're supposed to have 9 hours?
But clearly there is, il y a du dysfonctionnement, quoi. Inacceptable d'avoir des emplois du temps, c'est très petit, excuse-moi, des emplois du temps à trop pour donner un petit bout à chacun. On aurait même pu parler d'équité éducative. Ça veut dire que comme on a un grand nombre d'enfants et beaucoup de carences et de retards et des choses à pallier.
On va toucher sur la fameuse réforme du bac. OK? Where I'm going to say Lycée Robert Weinum took, I think it was 9 of the proposed matière, filière, or whatever, but it's allowing you, the student, to custom, your thing is so custom made, your schedule. But sauf que tu te retrouves avec des classes de 2 élèves, de 3 élèves, de 5 élèves. Eh ben oui, parce qu'il y a des créneaux horaires aussi. And that nobody is talking about. The reform du bac. And unfortunately, I want to say these are the guinea pigs now.
Yeah, because what happened with the reform du bac, that reform, which was meant to change the French education system somewhat, at least for that high school degree, it also couldn't be implemented. The first year of implementation was in the middle of the COVID, so now it's the actual real launching of it.
Exactly, because this year,
avec les carences du COVID. Tu ne penses pas qu'il aurait fallu quand même reporter cette histoire de réforme et sa mise en application d'au moins 2 ans, puisqu'on a reporté le tourisme?
Mais tu vois, encore une fois, on retombe sur une question là, je vais dire, qui relève des compétences du ministère de l'Éducation. D'accord? Oui. Et on se rend compte vraiment qu'on a des problématiques à Saint-Martin qui dépendent de ce niveau. That, you know what I mean? Between a rock and a hard place. Je suis désolée, à un moment donné, tu peux tout le vouloir que tu as, mais il y a la réalité du terrain. Malheureusement, la Guadeloupe fait ses recrutements de profs en ce moment directement en métropole. Quand en plus de ça, tu entends que Saint-Martin n'est pas un territoire attractif, d'accord? La problématique réelle existe. On a un manque de profs sérieux. Et sur tous les établissements, j'ai envie de dire. And not only that, but even with the replacement of the teachers too, when there's an absent teacher, what they're not saying too is that if you were to make it or do the necessary for you to be able to be replaced, and I know people are going to get vexed when they hear that too, because this is another thing too, no one is beyond reproach. When I say no one, I mean no entity, whether it's the parents, the teachers, the principals or whatever, we are all human. But in order to replace you, you need to be replaceable. Il y a quand même une procédure à suivre, il y a quand même des étapes à passer.
Du coup, comment on sort de ce sac de nœuds? J'ai envie de dire, à t'entendre, moi je suis complètement... Comment on sort de ce sac de nœuds? Honnêtement, comme j'aime dire toujours dans les réunions UPESM, je n'ai pas toutes les réponses. Je n'ai pas toutes les solutions. Mais après ça, je pense que quelque part, il faut qu'il y ait une vraie discussion. Et quand je dis vrai, je veux dire que tout le monde arrive avec son cerveau open, that we're not there to just force our opinion, our way of seeing things down the other one's throat. Because again, like I said before, UPESM is working on the DPAS project. And one of the things that we're treating also is the problematics that teachers are faced with when they reach on this territory. Okay? Last year, for example, Robert Weinum, there were 3 syndicats for teachers present. So everywhere you're seeing factions of everything. You know, there's no collective really at no level. And to me, okay, bon, à chacun libre de faire ce qu'il veut, hein. But at some time, like I said, the conversation has to be real. The conversation cannot be no longer around, je suis le plus beau, le plus fort, celui qui va trouver la réponse. Ça me rappelle le Covid, tu vois, c'est tout le monde veut la queue, tout le monde veut trouver, tout le monde, Et c'est malheureux. In the end, tomorrow at 6:30, there is a march. The parents are called out to, go on the front line and protest, and they want the government or the collectivity and the education board to play their part in order to at least address the concerns they have. including, et ça je voulais t'entendre, je t'en ai pas parlé, cette histoire de projet de salle supplémentaire que le président de la collectivité aurait annulé. Est-ce que déjà c'est vrai? Is it true? They're saying it is unacceptable that the president of the collectivity has canceled the project to, provide additional classrooms at that facility.
What they told me was that no one responded to the appel d'offres. Because that's a serious problem that the collectivity is faced with also on the territoire.
I'm sorry. What do you mean, no one? Are we still talking about the same, tu sais, les histoires d'Algeco?
Algeco, tout à fait.
Mais c'était déjà attribué, qu'est-ce que tu me racontes?
Ben non, apparemment, ils n'auraient pas eu de réponse sur l'appel d'offres. But remember it was attribué, but then they had issues with the company and all kind of foolishness too.
Okay, so du coup, that story is done and we had to start over and get a new bid.
Exactly.
New tender. Okay.
Exactly.
And so now, since they haven't gotten anybody to provide them with or at least the contractor to build those additional classrooms, what do we do?
Honestly speaking, DK, unless I'm mistaken, and the collectivity is free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think now that all of their resources and their means and their energy is going into the construction of the new college, to get the Collège Soualiga out of there and into their building, so that this Robert Weinum structure be only a lycée and the BTS. I think that's where we're going because of the numbers also.
C'est pour ça qu'il y a un certain nombre de dysfonctionnements. Est-ce qu'on sait combien de salles supplémentaires? C'était pas au nombre de 10? It wasn't just for 10?
Non, le premier chiffre que moi j'avais eu, c'était 14. What is helping with the classrooms this year too is that the effective of the college apparently is en baisse.
D'accord. Oui, parce qu'ils ont dit qu'ils ont perdu environ 20%, entre guillemets, une vingtaine de pourcents d'inscrits, on va dire.
Voilà. Ouais.
More and more people are leaving or maybe making other choices.
Exactly.
I just don't know if there is a divide. I did see this track going around. I was unsure who were the people that put it out, but I did see a few supports and stuff on social media in particular. And I wasn't going to downplay it. I'm just going to go and figure it out. But what I'm understanding from you is I should not be seeing you on the forefront tomorrow. You're not necessarily going to be there in the protest, or are you?
No. The only reason any of us would be there is to make sure that the children that do want to go to school, that want access are able to.
Yeah. But I don't, when there's a protest, and il y a toujours le service minimum, donc les enfants qui veulent aller en cours, ils
iront en cours. Il n'y a pas de service minimum, puisque comme je dis, le seul flyer qu'on a vu sortir d'un syndicat de profs, ça dit que les profs seront là pour assurer les cours, malgré le fait qu'ils sont en solidarité avec le mouvement.
Ouais, donc ça veut dire qu'eux, ils donnent leurs cours, mais ils sont pas dehors. Donc alors, si c'est un prof qui rentre, par exemple, à 8h, le rassemblement est à 6h30, ils peuvent le soutenir de 6h30 à 8h, à 8h, ils rentrent en cours, etc.
Tout à fait.
Clair, c'est la grève sur mesure, quoi. On y va.
Oui, voilà. Sauf que le gamin qui devait être en cours à 7h, qui est dehors, lui, il sera compté absent, par contre. Hein?
Oui. Ça, c'est pas très sympathique.
The misery loves company, but I guess not enough. Huh?
Right. All right. So, first of all, let me just say before I go that I want to congratulate you on all the work you're doing and how, implicated and committed you are with regards to the fight and representing parents, even if I know you're always putting out the word out there, telling people, to join UPESM, to be active. You want members in different schools and so forth. You're looking for volunteers. Go.
Well, not only that, but I want to praise a little bit before I think. We are, for the second consecutive year, this is only my second consecutive election, we are in the 5 schools of the second degree. The LPO especially has a very dynamic team this year, you know what I mean? J'ai des parents, franchement, quand on me dit que les parents sont pas investis, c'est pas vrai. On a de super bons parents, on a de super bonnes têtes de liste cette année, mais comme je dis, l'union fait la force, tout simplement. Donc, déjà, quand tu penses que tu as un établissement avec 900 élèves et que on est à 10 parents assiégés, même pas 10 parents, 5 parents avec 5 suppléants, c'est pas déjà très, très représentatif. Donc, en plus, si on n'est pas là, tu imagines. Donc, like I said, congratulations to my board, congratulations to my conseil d'administration because they're really there with me, you know, it's not a one-man show at all. A special thank you also to the whole administration who's always there when we call on them, you know, Ingrid Mathurin, Vernicia, Nuguet, all of them. And yes, you know, we want the parents to join on because they have to have a voice. And I know that not everyone is going to be like me and you and jump up and make the noise that has to be made, but they can be behind me whispering in my ear what, you know, what they need to get across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to wish you all the best. Honestly, Angèle, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like when I saw this, I was like, when are we ever gonna get a break on this island?
The other day, I said to someone, I said, est-ce que tu peux me montrer un endroit, un domaine, un secteur où ça va?
Donc, revenons-en. Le transport, tu disais que c'est le seul service où il n'y a pas d'échéancier.
Oui, il n'y a pas d'échéancier, en fait, dans le transport scolaire. Tu as des jours où tu te dis, mais punaise, mais rien ne va. Rien ne va. Ouais. Sauf que malheureusement, enfin pas malheureusement, heureusement, je veux dire qu'il y a des personnes qui sont toujours là, qui essaient de trouver des solutions. But I want to say this too, you know, we can't say that we're trying to find solutions and then every solution that the other party comes with is shot down when you yourself ain't bringing it to the table.
Right.
Because, you know, exposing the problems, we all know what all the problems are. We know what they are. So how do we get to the bottom of them now?
But at the same time, I think a lot of it too, Angèle, and allow me, if maybe part of it is the fact that historically, like there is a point départ, there's a how we got here kind of vibe. And I think maybe people would have been a little bit more tolerant and more understanding with regards to the COVID context had we already addressed, if not more, at least 70% of, you know, the different concerns. Quand on me parle de prof absent, par exemple, what's new? Quand on me parle de moyens existants, mais problèmes de gestion, de répartition ou je ne sais quoi, that's not COVID related.
That's not COVID related, but let's not forget our big, we are still in a lot of ways in post-Irma conditions.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, the world got COVID, but COVID was our double whammy. Let's be real. You know what I mean? We still have...
Then if you add before Irma, it's the same.
If you
take into account prior to Irma's passing, we're still in the same conversation.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to say Irma made worse certain situations that already existed.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years since Irma. You know what I mean? I think it would be time to tell the population, well, listen, you know, this is what is going on. This is what is required. This is where we're at. This is where we need to go. This is what we have. This is what we're lacking. I mean...
Thank you, Angèle. I really appreciated that exchange with you.